Sometimes when reading, we can't quite figure out what an author is trying to say. We have to make a guess. That's called making an inference. When we read a narrative on the life of Frederick Douglass tells us that he has no accurate knowledge of his age. But when he tells us it is the wish of most masters within my knowledge to keep their slaves thus ignorant, we have to wonder what he's suggesting. When we notice something in the text that is right there, that is considered explicit. It is stated directly in the text. When Frederick Douglass tells us, "I have no accurate knowledge of my age, never having seen any authentic record," he is being explicit. On the other hand, when an author gives us lots of details and evidence, not directly stating what he's thinking, we have to make an inference. He's being implicit. When Frederick Douglass tells us most masters within his knowledge wish to keep their slaves ignorant, we have to wonder, because he's not telling us explicitly, why he thinks that. To make an inference, we have to analyze the evidence we do have. When Frederick Douglass says the phrase, "within my knowledge," I think when people say "within my knowledge," they are usually stating an opinion. What can we infer Frederick Douglass's opinion is for why he does not know his age? Based on what Frederick Douglass does say, and what I know from my background knowledge about that phrase, I can make a guess. My inference is that slave owners are intentionally keeping the information from their slaves, as far as Frederick Douglass is concerned. Now you try. Read the following excerpt, also from Chapter 1. Pay close attention to what Frederick Douglass says about his mother. Push pause if you need more time to finish reading. After reading the excerpt, can you answer this question? What can you infer about Douglass's mother's feelings toward Douglass? Some details provided by Douglass are that his mother lived about 12 miles from his home, that she could be whipped if she was not back at the field at sunrise, and that he only saw her at night, where she would lie down with him to get him to sleep. Based on the evidence, what background knowledge or rule can you come up with to help us infer how Frederick Douglass's mother felt? We know that she worked at a farm 12 miles away, and that 12 miles is a long way to walk. We know the penalty for not being in the field at sunrise was a whipping, and I know that slaves were punished with whipping. We also know she came at night to get him to sleep, and I know slaves traveled at night so they could go undetected. Using evidence from the text plus background knowledge, I can now make an inference about how Frederick Douglass's mother felt about Frederick Douglass. Based on the evidence, I can tell his mother was willing to walk a long distance to see him, was willing to risk punishment, and she did not have permission. Although it is not stated directly in the text, I can infer that Frederick Douglass's mother felt very strongly about him. She walked long distances at night, even risking punishment, to see him and get him to sleep. Although he doesn't remember her very well, he does share evidence that she cared for him. Let's review. Sometimes when we're reading, we don't get all the information we need from the author explicitly. We have to use evidence from the text plus our own background knowledge to make guesses or inferences. Making inferences along the way helps us understand what we're reading. Make sure to practice as you read on.
Created using Powtoon.